Okay, we're live. Welcome to the Coaching to Flourish podcast. Is that what we're calling it? Have we decided for real what the name is? We need to figure out the name. We will for real really soon.
Maybe people can send their suggestions.
Life is full. There's a lot going on in the world, and I feel like this is a very exciting time. Coaching to Flourish live Q&A. There we go. Thank you, Ashley. Welcome to the Coaching to Flourish live Q&A podcast. My name is John, here with Raj. We're here to answer your questions on all things coaching.
Hi, everyone. And I'm Raj Anderson. Yes, the Coaching to Flourish live Q&A. Thank you, Ashley.
Excellent work.
Okay, John, we've had some really good questions come in. So just for everyone who's listening and for you as well, 3 questions that I'm hoping we'll be able to explore, but sometimes time runs on. Number 1, I've had this question myself a couple of times this week, so I think it would be really wonderful to hear from you, John, on what can you tell us about the new Health Board Certified Wellness Coach certification? People are really curious about it and want to hear a bit more. Number 2, I think this is beautiful timing around gratitude, but how does gratitude impact your life? I thought this was really timely since we got Thanksgiving coming up next week, isn't it? Yeah, it's next week. And then number 3, depending on where we're at with time, what are powerful questions?
That's right. And we have one question too from the enrollment team, actually 2 questions. One is, what are the limits of coaching? And what is the difference between coaching and therapy? So great questions, right? All right, so let's start. Let's start with the what is a powerful question, because I feel like we pushed that one off twice already now. And it's time. It's time to look at what is a powerful question. I've been thinking about this on a lot. And I think there's this, I don't know. I mean, I feel it's a little embarrassing because I do like reading Jack Reacher novels. They're horrible. They're not good. There's just like, but when you have, a surgery come up and you're sitting in your bed for a little bit and there's nothing else to do, you pick up a Jack Reacher novel. Anyway, in one of them, it says they're doing this interrogation scene, and in it, there's a quote that says, great question. The key to a great question is 90% listening. So like it's in the listening that the listening makes the question powerful. And what I mean by that is I think a lot of times coaches, new coaches especially, put all this energy into, let me find the best question I can ask. Let me try to get to a question that's going to like open it all up. And there are some good questions. I mean, there are quality questions, and I love asking questions that I know are just going to open this up and make this thing go. But I think that the deeper yearning of that question, the deeper space in that is, if you're asking an open-ended question about something that you're most curious about, not what you think you should be curious about, but what, as a human being, empathetically listening to another human being, what is it that you really, really, really want to know for the sake of the person you're listening to? It's going to be a powerful question. It's almost like having a powerful curiosity is the key to the question, and then listening, deeply listening. That's what you're after. Because when you deeply listen, then all of a sudden your curiosity muscle starts to operate and say, hey, what about that? What about this? What about, I'm hearing some emotion here. That's unusual. Wow. Like, what would it be like to be in that spot? I would be most curious about this if I were in that spot. So when you have that active empathy, when you're really putting yourself and listening deeply to your client, and you trust your natural curiosity, pretty much any question you ask at that point is going to be a powerful question.
So how would you suggest coaches keep this simpler? Because I know coaches can really get in their head about this, so it feels complex.
Go easy on yourself. Like, don't rush it. Like seriously, I feel like every coach, myself included, when I was in training, I wanted to rush my development. It's almost like, think of it like Jedi training, where you don't want to rush it. there's no need to rush to become a master Jedi. Like, you don't become Yoda overnight. It's a process, and enjoy the process. Milestones. I think it's helpful to think more of milestones along the process. The first one is to trust it, to trust the milestones and trust the process itself. I think there's people want to hold on to being the one to solve or offer the suggestion or offer the solution for your client. It's a lot like people who want to, who get really into matchmaking for other people. They really want to be like, I want to be the one to like introduce you to, or I was the one to introduce this couple and look at them, they're amazing. It's very little to do with the introduction. It's all about the chemistry between the two people, right? But everyone wants to be the one to introduce the two people to each other, right? I feel like that happens a lot in coaching sessions where the coach wants to be the one to introduce their client to the solution to their problem. And if they do that, then they can prove how valuable coaching is, which then ties into the worth that coaches have around themselves in this process, where they think, I want to prove that coaching is a valuable profession because I've dedicated my professional life to this. That makes sense. But a big milestone for coaches is when they let that go and they trust the coaching process, where it's enough simply to ask questions and to listen. Listening is enough. And that's the first milestone. And it's hard. It sounds easy, but it's way hard because you have to let go of that. I want to fix it. I want to make it better. I want to prove how valuable my insights are. I want to prove how valuable coaching is. I think that's first milestone. What about for you, Raj? Oh, so the question I have for you is, when did you get, or what, do you remember the moment when that clicked, or was there a moment when it flipped for you?
Yeah, I really had to let go. I talked about being in the 2.0 and not being attached to the outcome, the perfectionist tendencies. And I remember doing some training on a one-on-one with my own coach. She wouldn't let me make any notes. And I was like, I need to write all these questions down. I need to write all these questions down. I felt like I need to have like a database and portfolio of these questions. And I think even now I feel like I'm transported back to that spot, just letting go. I think the realization as well for me is sometimes the most powerful question can be a real obvious and simple question. And it makes me think, I was talking to somebody in an overview, and this comes up with the time model. I really don't feel comfortable asking the importance question because they wouldn't be sharing it if it wasn't important. And of course it's important. Yet the individual may not have had an opportunity to ask themselves why it's important. So sometimes it's that most obvious and simple question. I think when I realized this, I'm making it way more complex than I need to. Just ask the obvious, curious question in the moment.
That's it. You ask what you're most curious about. And if you listen, your curiosity, you're going to have high quality curiosity. So I think that's the next step, is when coaches feel like they can put more of their energy into the curiosity than into the question itself. That's the next milestone. And here's the third thing that I would offer is, it is useful to have 4 or 5 default questions, like, that you can change a word, or if you don't know where to go, you have default questions. A default question to avoid is, how do you feel? How does that make you feel? That's fine, but you have to, I think it's helpful if you think of maybe adding a little more value to the question by asking, what emotion do you feel? Like, if you're listening to emotion, pick that emotion and then ask a specific question, where's the joy coming from? Or what do you want to do with that sadness? Or what's underneath the sadness? What happens when you embrace joy even more? If you think of something right now that you're grateful for, what happens when you increase that gratitude what happens if you double the gratitude? You know what I mean? Like, you have to give a little bit more to an emotion question That's my only suggestion with, if your default question is, how does it make you feel?
Yeah. And I think, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, John, as well. For people get stuck in doing questions, I always say have some back pocket learning questions to shift in that moment, because sometimes new coaches want to carry the learning themselves, or they want to summarize it back. Whereas here we are helping somebody to create their own understanding and learning and resilience. So I find it really useful to share with new coaches. We're doing an overview, really think about having some of those learning questions. And if you find yourself wanting to go to doing too quickly, pull out a learning question as well. What do you think about that, John?
Absolutely. It's yeah, it's a beautiful process. I wouldn't rush it. Just you can really trust. And the training, I don't know how many dozens of times have had participants go through the training, get around halfway through, about 3 months through, and think, oh, I'm just not getting it. Why is this not there? And then, the assessors will say, yeah, they're not getting it. Like, what do we need an intervention? And it clicks. The idea clicks. The idea of listening and powerful questions clicks. And I don't want to, I've seen it too many times. You can trust that it will click if you keep putting yourself and let go of trying to solve it. And when it clicks, it's beautiful. It really is. I'm excited for people who it hasn't yet happened yet, because when it happens, so many other things change. You're able to listen, not just to your clients better, but to other people in your life. It changes. I mean, have you ever tried listening to a sibling or a parent from a level 2 perspective? Yeah, try that one secretly. Don't have to do it like, I'm listening to you level 2 now. Just try a little bit and see what happens. It's a thing,
So I guess the message here is have patience with yourself, have grace, give yourself a chance, keep it simple, lean into the listening, think about some default questions. I like to think about using the client's language as well. So pick up on those throwaway comments or client's language. You've got to meet them where they're at in their world.
You learn some fun little tricks and, strategies, verbal, mental, emotional strategies along the way when you listen to other people coach, which I think is, the training is designed. I'm very happy with the layout and format of the training, the Coach Training EDU, to have as much time and energy spent on being coached and coaching itself. You pick things up also when you're a client and you realize, wow, that was a really effective thing that my coach did. Those are gifts. Those are little gifts. Let's go to the next question. What's the next one?
Okay, so
well, let's do the difference between therapy and coaching, and what are the limits of coaching, because this is a really great segment into where, and it's a very real question, what is therapy, what is coaching? My first thought on it is that both fields are extremely valuable and useful, and it's helpful to know what each one is designed for and to use it in that way. Like gears in a car, it's helpful to know what, first gear is designed very differently from third or sixth gear, and it matters. My sense on this is therapy is designed, from a coaching perspective, therapy is useful when you as a coach are working with a client and you're bumping up against something that doesn't make sense or makes you feel uneasy or makes you think, okay, I am out of my depth in this realm. Like I think this is something that is not, it's deeper than what's happening in the present. It's not looking forward, but it's trying to heal some past trauma or something that feels unresolved, or there's, there needs to be a deeper intervention around past. That is definitely the territory of therapy. And I've often worked with clients who are also working with a therapist. That is an incredibly powerful setup. And I would suggest that. So from a coaching perspective, as a professional coach, if you feel like you're out of your depth, it's helpful to have a therapist who, you partner with to ask questions and say, hey, this is what came up in the session, from one professional to another in confidentiality. To have this written into client agreements is a useful thing if you want to go that direction. When I was practicing, I had a therapist I would talk with, and we would share clients back and forth if I thought, or refer clients, to her practice, she to mine. And I recommend that.
Yeah. And the other thing I would add to that, I too have clients that are in therapy and coaching with me, is to add to the design the alliance. How do you see coaching being different to the therapy that you're having? Because we want to be mindful of the feel, because if somebody has been in therapy for a while, they're used to a different kind of feel of a session. And I know that came up for me early on when I first started coaching people that were in therapy. They were used to a different kind of feel. So I really needed to design that alliance and talk to them about what a coaching session was going to look like, and also how they wanted it to be different. Like, what were the goals that would be different from therapy and coaching, and what might be the ones that are aligned?
Yeah. And then on a deeper level of what the difference is, I know that the difference is now, it's not that therapy is monolithic, or this is, cognitive behavioral therapy, like everything is, that, or everything is, health board certified ICF credential coaching. Like, all coaching is in this way. That both fields, there is differences between the different types of therapy, different types of coaching. Okay. To generalize, however, what a therapist is trained to do is to listen, recognize patterns, and then offer proven interventions. That's what the training's for. Coaches are trained to listen with curiosity and ask questions that empower the client to come up with the insights and the action steps. That's the fundamental difference between the two fields. Now, a therapist can definitely put on a coaching hat and be a coach for a period of time. That's 100% okay. A lot of therapists do that. And there is a recent movement in the counseling and therapy world to have coaching classes and to say, hey, this is how coaching operates. This is what coaching looks like. And so a lot of therapists will also, we've had people who've been trained as therapists take our coaching course and have a coaching practice along with the therapy practice. Coaches going to therapy without being trained, don't do it. It's not, that's the limit. That's the boundary. That's not what coaching is. It's not about recognizing patterns and offering proven solutions. You can ask suggestions. You can say, hey, this is what I've read to be best practices. These are the suggestions, but that's it. That's the stopping point. At that point, you go back to curiosity mode. You go back to empowerment mode, and you let your client or other professionals work more on a knowledge basis. That's how I see the two fields.
That's really helpful, John. And just a final bit on this. Can you help people that are listening, help us to understand? Sometimes I get this question where coaches can be worried that the deeper exploration or questions around emotions or feelings or something on the past comes up, that is actually therapy and not coaching.
Right. Coaching can have a therapeutic element. The distinction I see is if the past and feeling, thinking, emoting around the past has a present tense meaning, has a present tense impact that your client can work with to craft some sort of future step forward, some future action step that feels like the client is empowered and there's an empowerment basis to it, then yes, you're still in coaching territory. And for me as a coach, I feel it as, we'll go in the past sometimes, we'll go into the emotion, but I don't need to know the details of the past. I don't need to know I'm not here to recognize the patterns or to say, oh, you know what, that is this thing. Like, that's not. It's I can create a space for you to process what you need to process, to bring it back to the present moment, to take an empowered action step into the future. So I'm holding space here, and I think what would the difference point would be that where the two diverge is a therapist will also hold space here. Like, I'm holding space for you to process what you need to process in the past. The difference is a coach will then go from that space towards present tense curiosity. Whereas a therapist is trained to say, I'm seeing this pattern. It might be this. What about that? And they can suggest something, and that's the diverging. That's where the two paths diverge. So it's not in the processing of the past. It's what does the practitioner do with that next? That's the difference.
Yeah, and that I just have to share. This reminds me of when John was coaching me once. So this was it was a powerful question, but it was also something that I was being triggered from kind of past behaviors. And I remember this, John, I won't forget it because I've journaled on it many times. What healing still needs to take place? And it brought me into the present. It wasn't about what might have been broken or, all of those things that were coming up for me from the past, but it allowed me to release in that moment and also recognize myself as healed. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. It was a powerful moment and a powerful question.
That's cool. I just saw an eagle fly by when you said that, and they're not flying by every day. Not yet. It's not. We live in a
There's that
wonderful
eagle.
spot.
I'm sure it flew past that time as well. That eagle shows up.
It's fun. It's fun.
So did you want to cover the other question? This time goes so fast, doesn't it?
I get going, and this is one of the reasons why I love teaching, because you get to talk. You get to say whatever you want. It's good. I mean, I feel like it's lovely to know I was born to do this work, and to feel it, to feel like, yes, this is what I love. This stuff. I love reading about it. I love coaching. I love listening. I love curiosity. There's definitely an element of when I think you're in the spot when you're in your coaching genius, when you're loving the exploration. There was once I was riding with a buddy. We're mountain biking, and I was doing amazing. I mean, it was one of the best rides, and it wasn't even that technical. I mean, the trail was medium, but it just felt like every curve. I just was like leaning in, and just felt it felt like I was as trite as it might be. There's like one with the bike and one with the dirt and everything. And we finished. We got to the halfway point, and he comes riding after. And he said, "What happened?" I said, "Yeah, I know, right?" And I just felt like I just fell in love with the trail. It just felt like it was like every little thing that you wouldn't normally have to do, like every non-necessary thing, but still to treat even the non-necessary things with love. That's what was happening. And I feel like how this translates into a coaching session is, yes, as a coach, you're asking the question, like the thing that will move the session forward is a question. But when you fall in love with the challenge that your client is experiencing, in the sense of using it as a means to explore something deeper, or to explore, help the client see something that, or gather an insight that's more valuable than solving that initial problem. There's something there. There's something in that. And that for me was a huge turning point, when I stopped trying to solve it, but instead tried to explore it. That changed everything for me. It opened up a whole new world of curiosity. And that's what I feel like a lot of coaches are yearning for. I don't know how that plays on the difference between coaching and therapy. I feel like therapists will do the same thing in some ways. But that comes up.
So John, you're answering like you are allowing us to kind of think big and step into this inspiration space, like there's limitless possibilities. Yeah. Do you think we can answer the next few minutes then? What would you say are the limits of coaching?
It's when you feel like there's something, like if you keep on bumping up against something that it doesn't make sense, that feels like this just feels way too incongruent. I don't know what's happening here. That's what you call your therapist colleague and ask, or you might even talk to the client afterward and say, hey, do I have permission to contact this therapist? I have a couple questions. That's the limit.
Thanks, John. And do you have time to then close us
Let's do
out?
it. Let's close it out.
Do you want to tell anyone about the new health board certification?
Yes. Yes. It's something that I've been working on with Ashley. Ashley's been the point person on Coach Training EDU to work through the application, put things together. It's been something that's been on my radar screen for the last couple of years, something that I've always wanted to do, simply because I think these accreditations matter and they do push things forward. The thing that is most exciting about the health board is that there's also a connection between different insurance companies and medical organizations, that some insurance will accept health board certified sessions as part of the benefits packages to certain insurance plans. So now, for the very first time, you have coaching paid for through health plans. That's amazing. That's amazing. The standards of the health board are extreme, and we're still working through them. They have a couple of very intense requirements from an organization standpoint, but we're very close, and I think we're submitting our application here in a week or two. Something that we've been working on for a while now, and the thing that we needed to add the most was very specific information in the health world. Like, we had the coaching stuff covered, and we've actually had participants take our wellness coach training, want to get the health board certified, take training in another organization, and other people in that other organization ask, where did you get coach trained? Because it's amazing. And then we've had people come back from those other organizations and coach train with us. So we have the coach training thing down. The thing that we didn't have that we're adding is that very specific health information, which shifts back to that knowledge basis. So it would be learning, this is what, like these are the elements of an exercise routine. This is how you would calculate body mass index, which I have interesting thoughts and feelings about. All of those like very specific health oriented topics, different kind of, the different hormones and what they do. And, if you're looking at blood work, what does it mean? I mean, that detailed, and it's a lot, but it is something that if you add that knowledge basis combined with the empowerment basis that we already do really well in our coach training, that's the health board. And my sense is that as the ICF, through their coaching standards, also moved more towards the empowerment basis and away from even action steps or, the coach knowledge basis, I think the health board is going to do the same in the next year. They're going to move more towards, just because it works well. And the field, it's calling for it in the field. There's a lot of research in positive psychology right now about the benefits of a lot of these interventions. I mean, I feel like we're going to enter a golden era of coaching, where organizations, accrediting bodies are going to start gaining more traction and becoming more accepted in society. And we're going to have more studies that show the benefits of it. I mean, it's going to be an upward cycle here. We're already in it.
That's really exciting. Thank you, John. And we're on time. We're out of time.
Did we get all the questions? Was that it?
We did not.
There was one more, right? Yeah.
How does gratitude impact your life?
Let's do that one. Let's just do a minute. That's a great one to end on. And we can pick that up next time. You want to go first, Raj?
Yeah, it's life-changing for me. I think it helps me reframe, helps me to count my blessings. It helps me to shift my state when I'm not in a great place. I mean, I actually practice gratitude every single day. So 3 things to be grateful for every day.
This is the foundation of positive psychology. I mean, this is what got started. And the main insight was people are not grateful because people are not happy because they get what they want. They get what they want because they're happy. And that reordering is one of the biggest insights that positive psychology and the study of countless studies on gratitude and the benefits of it. You have the very famous 3 blessings intervention, and that matters. And so us as a family, well, sometimes you're having a hard time. Can be kind of a muscle workout to say, what are 3 things I'm grateful for? And that matters over a period of time if you can do that on a consistent basis. For me, I feel like gratitude is one of those things that it's a muscle like anything else. The more you practice it, the stronger it gets, and things start to change.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to just say thank you. Thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you to Coach Training EDU. Thank you, Ashley, who helps us set everything up. And thank you, John, for helping me be in this space.
Well, you're amazing. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate all of you listening. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.